Today is Saturday, February 29th, 2020. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback for week 3 of Winners at War.
That's right. Welcome to the leap year edition of Survivor Fans Podcast Listener Feedback Show. So I think we got some pretty emotional Survivor fans that are ready to give some feedback this week. How many folks did we have send something in?
28.
28. There was an emotionally devastating vote out that occurred, and people are confounded by the reasoning associated with who left and who stayed. Do we have any announcements before we need to get going?
We don't.
Okay, let's dive right in. First up, we got a call from Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston here. Wow. I gotta let out a great big woo! But that's it for woos. I say woo because it was an awesome episode, digging this season, just sad with the outcome. Oh, I really did not want to see Ethan going. I didn't expect him to win because of, his story, but man, not to go home this early in the pre-merge, all because he's a likable guy and because he was with Rob in poverty. So sad, so sad. I so wish it was going to be Adam. Oh, I'm gagging. What is Adam thinking about? He dodged a major bullet, guys. I don't know if everyone else agrees. Why do you tell Boston Rob what your plans are? This and that. Like, Boston Rob isn't going to do anything. Hello? Aren't you a big fan? You call him the Godfather. Like, he's not going to tell Poverty. He even told Ethan earlier in the episode as well. And I'm sure Ethan maybe told Poverty, too. We didn't get to see it. But wow, I never would have thought, though, my homeboy Jeremy and 1L Michelle would be running the tribe now. The way it looks. Because you get Denise, who's doing whatever they say. Adam is hanging on by a thread, and Ben is still the wild card. But Rob and Poverty, don't count them out. I guarantee they're going to get their revenge. And I love that Ethan gave his token of Poverty. I hope she has an idol, and we'll see a change in the game. And I hope that team can win a challenge. We'll see. And then the other team, I'm digging Cops R Us now. We'll see how longer it can last. I love Sarah and Tony working together. Maybe it's some retribution with them. And Sarah sneaking in the camp, finding the steal a vote was awesome and epic. I was shaking. I'm digging both of them. Sandra is Sandra. I love how she caught that shark there. And then Tony running like a mad dog with it. But nothing was like Richard Hatch and All-Stars when the shark bit him. That was epic. But anyway, though, Tyson targeting Sandra. But it looks like based on the next on, though, he's going to work with Sandra and Tony and Sarah. That would be very good. And maybe with Kim. We didn't see anything of Kim, so we'll see how that goes. And the Edge of Extinction, Natalie is just taking it into another gear. Amber and Danny have no idea what to do. Natalie's going to, I think, find her way back in, but I'm pulling for Ethan, though, too. We'll see, guys. Digging this season, and Adam dodged a huge bullet. That's what I'm saying as I say, good day. Take care, guys. Woo.
Woo, Pete, woo. Next up, we got an email from Nathan in Portsmouth, Virginia. Hello, Survivor fans. Work kept me from having time to submit my feedback last week, but I'm glad to be back this week. I'm really enjoying this season, and there's so much to digest. Here are a few of my thoughts. First, I don't mind Adam coming to Boston Rob with the idea of voting out Parvati. Perhaps Adam and I are both fools, but I understand what he was trying to do. There's only one winner, so Boston Rob has no true loyalty to anyone but himself, as all good Survivor players must. Therefore, the idea that Adam could talk Boston Rob into changing alliances to Adam's group isn't completely out of the realm of possibility. Obviously, Rob was entrenched in his alliance and it didn't go well for Adam, but I can see the concept behind his design to share his thoughts with Rob. Next, I'm trying to withhold judgment on fire tokens, but so far, I'm not impressed. It's not a real currency as described by Jeff. It has just been someone on edge of extinction winning a mini challenge and then trading that win to someone on the island for an advantage that can be used later by the edge of extinction person to get back into the game. Gotta agree with that. They haven't expanded the scope of it enough to make it interesting yet. Why not just give them a token when they win the challenge and let those on the island find their own advantages? Yes, it adds a wrinkle to the game, but I don't think it's a wrinkle that is needed. Maybe things will change, but so far it's just not adding that much to the game. Lastly, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the decision to vote out Ethan. I understand the 4 that voted for him not voting for Adam, but I don't get why they didn't vote out Parvati or Rob. Or of the old school Power 3, it seemed that Ethan would have been the last target. Now that we've made Rob and Parvati mad and solidified their alliance, I'm looking forward to hearing everyone's. All 4 of those who made this move will one day share the reason behind their decision in an interview. Have a great week, everyone. I hope you enjoy your Survivor breaks as much as I do. Thanks, Nathan. I think that Jeremy and Michelle have both shared their logic behind it, and it's Jeremy's classic Meatshield strategy. And Ethan represents the least threat and therefore is of the least value as a Meatshield. And so it was easiest to get rid of him if you come at it from that perspective. So Jeremy was hoping to be able to leverage Rob. Michelle's hoping to be able to leverage Parvati in the same way. And that's pretty much the strategy that led them in that direction.
Well, and that's a valid point.
Yes. If you come at it that way,
Just protect Jeremy and get him further.
it gives them both a 1 game cycle buffer. Yeah. Yep. I get it from that perspective. It didn't immediately click with me, but now I understand. Thanks again, Nathan. Next up, we got a call from Christiana.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Christiana from Boston calling with my Winners at War episode 3 feedback. Another great episode. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I really didn't know who was going to go home, and it really did seem like it was Parvati. I know oftentimes in the episodes when there's someone indicated to go home at the beginning, that's kind of a telltale sign that they don't go home. But after Rob kind of like strong-armed Jeremy and Michelle, again, Rob really being his very forceful self, saying, no, I know what's going on. I know the vote is Parvati. We can't do that. We got to get Adam, da-da-da. And then Michelle and Jeremy pseudo-agreeing in that conversation, but then talking and saying, well, do we still go for Parvati? I feel like as much as I love Parvati, honestly, at this point, I think she's my number 1 want to win. I don't know if she can get there, but I would love to see it because she's just so good at the social maneuvering in this game, and I want to see it for as long as I can. But I was surprised that they didn't just continue to stick with Parvati because they had the votes. They could have gotten her out. It was a choice to switch to Ethan, which is another valid choice. Again, weaken the stronger members of the tribe by taking out their key ally, someone who's maybe like a little bit less of a controversial choice. But it was definitely a bummer to see Ethan go as a result of that. But again, I didn't want to see Parvati go, so it's hard because I really like all of these people and I don't want to see anyone go home. But I hope Ethan is okay. We saw a little clip of him getting his blood pressure taken in the Next Time on Survivor clip. I hope that he's doing all right out there on the edge. In terms of next week, I'm anticipating a swap just because I don't think they're gonna let this one tribe just continue to be decimated. And then with the swap, you never really know what to anticipate because you don't know what the numbers are gonna be on each tribe, so it's hard to say what's gonna happen next. If they're smart, again, regardless of how the tribes shake out, Rob and Sandra need to go sooner rather than later, but Rob is really running a lot of this game, and even though they did get one over on him and taking out one of his allies, he was able to switch the vote through basically just demanding that they do that, which just shows his absolute social mobility in this game. But I am looking forward to what everyone else has to say, and I hope everyone has a great week. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Christiana. Next up, we got an email from Mary in Michigan.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. What a bummer note that episode ended with. At least for me, I lost my USB and a save point. I really could not imagine a scenario where Ethan would go this week. I guess that tells you what I know. I'm having a hard time seeing the logic behind it and have to think that there's more we did not see. I really thought the Red Tribe would lose, but alas, I was wrong again. I personally love the old school players and did not want to see any of them go. But why would you not vote out Boston Rob? The only thing I can think of is there may have been some discussion that Ethan was hurting them in challenges. Of course, they made that bed when they voted out Natalie first. So, not sure why they would suddenly be concerned about it now. I am heartbroken for Ethan. Even if he was not my USB, I really wanted a strong showing for him with all he has been through. I thought the advantage sequence with Sarah to the other tribe was pretty silly. Can't help but think they thought it was so great when Vince did it that they decided to do it again. Bad call. Maybe it's just because Sarah is probably my least favorite player on the season. I just thought it was a waste of time. Impressed with her and really hope she gets back in the game. I think she's showing us she deserves a shot. Danny may as well raise the sail as far as I'm concerned. She leaves me thinking about the winners who did not make the season that we could be watching instead of her. I think I'm sticking with the thought that someone from the Red Tribe will have to go sooner or later. I am shocked that production has not done a swap to try to mix things up and keep their big names in the game. I still think Kim is on the outs over there, but we are seeing so little of them that I'm not sure what's going on. For all we know, Sophie already gave her the other half of that idol just like Adam did for Denise, because they didn't show that right away either. I think Adam is playing horribly and am shocked he did not go home. I have to go back to wondering why on earth Jeremy would think it was better for him to vote out Ethan. It just defies logic in my mind. So next time on Survivor, if we do not see the Red Tribe soon, this is going to get boring. I am really crossing my fingers for a swap. Also, would not be surprised if we don't see Amber get an advantage to send to Rob. I don't know what I'll do with JSFL. Honestly, I'm so far out of it now that it's depressing. Anyway, thanks for all you do, and let's hope for an exciting episode next week. All right, thanks, Mary. You can't give up JSFL. We've barely gotten started.
Yeah, and there's as many points as there are in the game up until the finale. There's that many points to be gained at the finale, so...
Yeah, actually, there's more.
Don't sweat it that much.
Yeah, it's not
fun,
over.
and it's challenging to see if you can be smart about your safe picks and maybe snag a vote out every once in a while. But that isn't always the case for sure.
Until the finale episode, it is
over.
not over.
Yeah.
No matter where your score is.
All right, cheer up, Mary. Next up, we got a call from Jade-n-Christine.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. It's Jade.
And Christine.
From Hawaii.
Aloha.
I have a cold, so I'm going to let my mom do most of the talking this time.
Yeah, such a treat. We wanted to tell you that we are loving the soundtrack. I don't know if this is something that you guys talk about, but the music and just the quality of it just seems to really have been stepped up this season. Maybe it's because we've been watching the older season. We've really noticing it. It's like it makes it so much more exciting to watch, and we're just loving it. We have to tell you that we believe Sandra is a gangster because she's out there catching sharks and no one's voting her off. And she's amazing. We love Sandra. Speaking of gangsters, how's our girl Natalie this episode, right? Even more likely to survive the edge of extinction and get back in the game. And I had a question for you guys. Do you think that she will end up being Ethan's new Lex? Just a possibility, right?
And we have to talk about the immunity challenge.
Yes. So exciting. It was such a close, I don't know if it was their editing, you know, like when they accidentally dropped it and they have to put it back on and in that puzzle, and it was so close, but it was very disappointing. that Dakal did not go to tribal.
Yeah, I'm sick of Sele losing, and what's so funny is that Mom's USB is Wendell and mine is Yule, so both our USBs are on Dakal, but we just want to see them go to tribal.
Yes, we want to see some playing. Yeah, we really hope that there's a tribe swap next time. Speaking of JSFL, this is our first time playing game, and we're both finding it very difficult, almost impossible to pick the vote out. So any tips from our Survivor fan tribe would be much, much appreciated. So that's about it.
Yeah, let us know if you have ideas.
Thanks. So
Thanks,
awesome.
Joanne and Stacy.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Jade. Thanks, Christine.
You could spin a wheel or put it up on a dartboard and see who you hit. 'Cause
You think it's about like that?
it is for me sometimes because I have these elaborate stories in my head, and I don't know. I should write a book.
It all starts. You got some definite fan fiction going there every week in your head for sure.
Yeah.
It all starts with trying to figure out who's going to win the challenge. So if you can, get some sense of what the challenge is going to be like from the press photos or something like that, then that's it. Although, given the track record of Sele this season, it seems like you got a pretty good hint of the way things are going to go. So, unfortunately, I don't know that you're going to get to see red.
I don't know because if Denise gets back with Adam and joins up with Parvati and Rob, they could pick off Jeremy, or I would go for Michelle, actually, because she can work Ben.
Yep.
That's why Ben wants to get rid of Parvati, because, she just smiles and he agrees. And I thought, I don't think that's Parvati.
He's projecting.
She's not flirting. She's just so cute that, it's affecting you, even though she's not trying to necessarily.
It works on him, doesn't it? Yeah.
Because he does the same thing with Michelle. Yeah.
Yeah, she talks him right around.
So I think it's very cute and precious with him. But for that reason, I'd go after Michelle.
What do you think about that question? Do you think that Ethan and Natalie are going to team up and that they would be a pair the way Ethan and Lex were in Africa? Do you think there's...
I'm not seeing it. No.
Yeah, there's no incentive for them to work together.
No, I would think he would be drawn more to Amber.
Well, since he dated her in the past, there might be something to that, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I'm not seeing the Lex kind of Ethan relationship develop there. And pretty sure Ethan was there and part of voting Natalie out. So she's not going to be rushing to have an alliance with him out there, I don't think.
He's probably just focused on getting back in the game and getting himself back in the game and or helping Parvati.
Yep, that seems most reasonable. And as for the music, yeah, it's great. I think it's been great. I mean, those horns of doom and all that's been there. I can remember like 3 seasons back when that came in, and then they just seem to be getting better and better at it and giving us great musical moments to go along with the drama that's happening, or the incredible shots that they're getting. That shot where they were way up above the water looking out over the islands, that was just magnificent, with the sun, with the rays coming down, and the way it hit the camera lens like that. That was really something special.
Was that in the actual episode, or was that in the extras?
Yeah, it was in that. And by the way, if anyone's struggling and wanting more of Dakal, the extra videos this week have a lot of great behind the scenes stuff happening at Dakal there. Just them socially interacting.
Yeah, that's so weird that they can see those people from their camp sitting over on
Dakal can see the edge of Extinction Island. They can see the mast where they raise the flag. Yeah. So that was interesting to see for sure. All right, thanks, Jade. Thanks, Christine. Hope you get better soon, Jade. Next up, we got an email from Justin in Michigan. Hello, everyone. Another episode that showcased my USB Adam heavily, although mostly in a negative fashion. He is overthinking things and playing too hard now, making similar mistakes as he did in his winning season. Exactly. That's it, exactly. I had hoped he would have been more calm and collected this season, which is why I picked him, because he is smart and direct, but not intimidating. Michelle and Jeremy seem to have the right approach on that tribe by sitting back in the background and letting people come to them. However, I disagree with their logic of voting out Ethan to weaken Rob, while also sending a message to Adam. If you want to weaken Rob, vote him out. Ethan has shown that he is less flexible and cutthroat than the others, which is exactly why he went. He's not the appropriate threat level. If they would have voted out Rob and Parvati the past 2 tribals, he would have had no one left to turn to and would be forced to work with them or get voted out at that point if they go to tribal again before a swap. I thought the Sarah and Tony scene was funny, but overall kind of pointless. She kept on her red buff, but then had Tony cover her face with ashes. Ironic, since the episode aired on Ash Wednesday. Anyway, I like the premise of having to do something to earn the advantage, but I wonder what the consequences of getting caught either before or after finding the advantage would have been. Basically, that she didn't get it. I think that would have been the sum total. For example, if she found and grabbed the advantage and then tripped and woke them up, would she be forced to give it up? Yep. Or if one of them woke up as she was walking up to the torches and then she rushed to grab it and sprinted off with it, would she not get to keep it? I'm with Joanne and lean toward Adam being safe next week, since it seems too obvious that he is the primary target from the preview. Tyson's comment in the preview caught my attention and made me think that maybe they are on to Yule and Sophie working together, but that might be a stretch. I'm hoping there'll be one more tribal before the swap, and then they will split into 3 tribes of 5 before going into the merge. Thanks for everything. All right, thank you, Justin. That does seem likely because we're getting no indication of a swap this time.
True.
So if there's going to be one, it'll probably happen when there's 15 left. Next up, we got a call from Kim.
Hi, everybody. This is Kim from North Carolina. Michelle really stood out for me this episode. I love it when anybody uses the term butt hurt. I think that
Me too.
Sandra and Yule could be a real dream team if they decide to work together. Tony has been really entertaining this season. I've enjoyed every single time he's been on the show. The use of bunker, I guess that's our new voting block versus alliances, and now it'll be versus people who are sitting in a bunker together. I really like that. I enjoyed the team from Hawaii who came up with Island of Extinction, because I can't keep the name of it straight either, and really Island of Extinction seems like the perfect name. One thing I like about it this season is that it looks like the people who are out there are going to have to play against each other, so somebody who gets stuck out there is not going to have the advantage that Chris had when they used it the first time. I really love Natalie. Her smile and just her whole attitude are just wonderful to watch. Thanks, everybody. I look forward to hearing what everybody else has to say. Bye.
All right, thanks, Kim. Next up, we got an email from Boston Mark.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Thank you, as always, for this wonderful podcast, to you and this community. You all add so much to my enjoyment of the show. I love All-Star seasons. This one is especially fun, as some of my all-time favorites are there. All-Star seasons give wonderful multi-layered stories, such as the hilarious scene with Sarah and Tony and the camouflage. All-Star seasons make every scene relevant. All-Star seasons make me care and cringe and feel from episode 1.
Yeah, that's a good summary.
I did not pick Boston Rob as my USB, but my heart is with him. Parvati is a close second. I chose Kim because I'm one of those who think she played flawlessly her first time around. She hasn't impressed yet this season, so I'm planning ahead for a possible shift, even if she is there. So a technical JSFL question for you. If you switch and the person is still on Exile Island, is that for a possible 10 points or 5? I advocate for 10 because they are still in the game. All right, thanks, Boston Mark. As far as that goes, if the way it stands right now, if someone is on edge of extinction when it's time to choose a new USB, they are not technically in the game. You cannot choose them. If you have someone on EOE as your USB 24, you can just do nothing and you will keep them. So if they do come back in the game, then you're covered. But that's the way it stands right now, and we never know what they're going to throw at us or what we might have to adjust. But that's kind of where it stands right now.
Yeah, Edge of Extinction just throws a wrench in everything in terms of how the fantasy league runs, as well as the
Yeah.
final 6 kind of thing where we're expecting someone to come back like last time. So
Yeah.
it makes everything extremely difficult. It wasn't built to handle that kind of thing. All right, thanks, Boston Mark. Next up, we got a call from Samantha.
This is Samantha, aka Survivor Rocks from Texas. Sharks in the water, snakes in the grass, and an elephant in the room. Tony is keeping it fun, but Jaws wasn't going to take his arm off. Tony Shark, doodle-doo-doo-doo. Natalie is still proving she is there to play, even if it is from edge of extinction. She couldn't have picked a better person to give her advantage to than Sarah. And I love seeing the Cops R Us in action. It was fun to watch as well. Now, let's get straight to the elephant in the room. Wow, I'm just blown away with the outcome of this last episode. But I still don't like Michelle, and I still think Ben should have went last week. Ethan's vote out hurt and blindsides all of America. Now, I think that's the Hall of Fame moment Jeff was talking about. Such a shocker that it was. But the bigger question is, why not take out the bigger dog, Boston Rob, instead of Ethan? Now, they had the votes, they could have done it. Why did they wait? Now that would be Hall of Fame worthy. This fan is heartbroken that Ethan's on edge. It was a real punch to the gut. Now, I'm ready to see Dakal take the hit. But kudos to the editing department for making such great TV moments of the show that we love. We love Ethan, and we will continue to cheer for him from the sidelines. And until next time, that's it. I got nothing for you.
Thanks, Samantha. Unfortunately, it turned out that it seems like Probst was referring to the sequence with Sarah. That's what he thought was a Hall of Fame moment.
Yeah.
Even though we had basically seen all that just before. I don't know. I bet he's totally forgotten that Vince was on the show. And it's so easy to celebrate Sarah and make it a big deal.
Well, and that she brought in Tony, and
yeah.
it's like, okay, Jeff.
Yeah, there we go. Next up, we got a call from Rashmi.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all my Survivor friends. This season has been absolutely amazing. I'm enjoying each and every episode. It's just that every time somebody gets voted out, it breaks my heart because I don't want to see them go. Natalie and then Ethan. Saying that didn't bother me too much, whereas Amber and Danny were concerned. I'm really worried for Rob and Parvati because I really would like them to keep going. Now, Natalie, I must say she is a real rock star. She is really killing it. I loved it. 3 advantages in a row she's found them. She's shown great ingenuity, found them great. I just loved it when she broke the shells on the other girls' little tubes and she threw away one. Great. I do hope she comes back. My fingers are all crossed, and just because I want her to come back, maybe something will go wrong. I shouldn't jinx it. The challenge, that was so good and such a nail-biting finish. I really felt bad for Rob there. And I love that little game Rob's got there, which he keeps chucking around. That was really funny. I really like that. And Tony, he's just so over the top with that shark. The real star in that little bit was actually Sandra. And he just, like a clown, he goes running around. It just annoys me. I just wish he would go. And about wishing who would go, I just wish Ben would go. 2 times in a row I've had him and I haven't got a point. So I really don't know what I'm going to do next. Maybe he'll go. I just don't want Rob to go. And that's it. I think I better end up now because it's quite late right now and I have to go to bed. Okay, bye then. Cheers. Waiting to hear what everybody else has to say. Bye.
Cheers, Rashmi. I love that. It's almost midnight, and what does a Survivor fan like Rashmi do? I gotta get my feedback in. You can hear the clock, like an antique clock clicking in the background. The house is quiet, but she's getting her thoughts down and sending them in so she can share her experience on this week's episode. Yeah, good deal. Thank you, Rashmi. Next up, we got an email from Jack in California. Adam's performance in this episode was hard to watch. It was a good idea to go after Parvati, but how Adam went about doing so was not the smartest of moves, especially telling Rob about it. When I first saw the clue at the edge this episode, I was wondering what the tree picture was all about. Was the combination locked by a corresponding tree? Yep. That looked like the picture, or did I just read too much into it? No, the tree was to get them to the area where it was. Amber's thought process of looking at the numbers was a nice way to go about it, but unfortunately didn't have anything to do with it. Natalie is surprising me the most out there on Extinction. So far, she got all 3 of the clues and is quickly putting them together to gain the advantages. I wouldn't be surprised to actually see her come back into the game based on how she's basically thriving out there. I can't help but think that the Hall of Fame moment that was being talked about was Sarah's sneaky advantage sequence. You got it. It was a nice twist to the whole gaining an advantage, and I like how Sarah thought the entire thing through instead of jumping right into trying it. As for next week, I do think Adam could still be in trouble, and I hope there is no medevac from Extinction. If there is, then it will probably be Ethan, unfortunately. Yep, thanks, Jack. Next up, we got a call from Andrew.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. This is Andrew from West Virginia. So I want to open up by saying I am a new listener, so forgive me. I do have to go by the little of this show that I've heard. I do want to go back and listen to everything, and I saw that you guys have some stuff on YouTube, but I did just assume kind of from some of the comments I heard that you guys were like kind of both Michelle like haters. I'm very dramatic, so I don't mean that seriously, but I do want to apologize for misunderstanding that. But now that that's out of the way, I want to just touch on the Edge of Extinction. I thought that was great. And I do think that we did see, I think Amber is starting to evolve to the game, and as much as I wasn't necessarily a huge fan of any of the old schoolers that have been voted out, I'm really kind of bummed to see that so many of the early winners are gone now, and I'm actually really bummed about that. I think that Yule is now the oldest winner that's still in the game. I don't mean by age, I mean by season. I could be wrong, but if my memory serves correctly, right now it's Yule, and that was season 14. So
actually, I think Sanders got him beat, right, with Pearl Islands. She won before Yule did, and Yule's win was season 13. 14 was the original Fiji.
Sandra has somehow managed to put herself in a really good position. When her name came up, everybody was pretty quick to defend her and not really go along with the plan. And then next week it shows the people who were targeting her, aka Tyson, are now they were trying to set something up. Good job, Sarah. I think that was a great decision. Steal a vote advantage is just a regular schmegular kind of steal a vote. I thought it was really interesting to see how Michelle and Jeremy took control this episode, kind of along with Ben and Denise, although I think that they kind of went with what they thought was the better idea once it was proposed. However, I do think the illusion that editing gave us of Michelle in the first episode, and by the way, I'm going to throw it out there, I am a huge Michelle fan, so I'm sorry. I hope that every voice recording of me does not turn into just like some soppy fangirling of Michelle, so I will try to keep that to a minimum. The illusion of her winning her season and her persistent comments of how she feels like she has to defend her win, I thought that this was a good episode for her, but I also do think that that's kind of setting her up along with Jeremy to probably make it somewhere in the top 7. That's going to be my prediction. I don't think that Michelle is going to win. I would love for her to, but if one of the pair makes it to the final 3, I do think it will be Jeremy. And if both make it there, I feel like that he would pull off the win, although I would love for Michelle to pull it off. This is episode 4, and the first 3 episodes was kind of showing a power struggle between Adam and Rob, and I think it's hilarious that right now they were both absolutely bewildered at what happened at Tribal Council. Even we were as viewers. I mean, did you guys catch if there was actually any talk of Ethan? Have a great night. Thanks again for y'all's reviews. I absolutely love looking forward to them. I'm refreshing my Spotify when the episodes are over, waiting for it to come out. So I can't wait to hear what the other fans think, and I will be hearing from you guys Saturday.
All right, thanks, Andrew. This was technically episode 3, and there was I'd mentioned it before, but one of the producers had said they shot that first 2-hour one as a single episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was talk of targeting Ethan. Michelle and Jeremy discussed it when they were walking on the beach after having the run-in with Rob, so it wasn't completely out of the blue. And cool to know that you're listening on Spotify. So this may surprise you, Andrew, but we've been doing this over 15 years, and this is our 31st season that we've covered. So if you go to the website, getsfp.com, or you go on YouTunes, you can find us going all the way back to 2005 when we started the podcast. Did I say YouTunes? I was thinking he mentioned YouTube, but I meant iTunes. That's funny. Merge the two. Good deal. Thanks, Andrew. Next up, we've got a call from Nicola-n-Jackson.
Hello, Survivor friends. It's Nicola and
Jackson.
All right, we're a little late this evening.
So, I liked where they did the jumping across thing because it was kind of cool.
It was cool.
And they had to toss that little rope lasso onto a thing and just tug up. Mm-hmm. And then that last part, the tree thing, was really tough. And that human ladder thing was really hard.
I think that was really hard.
If you want to do that, you just have to get stronger and stronger. So you can actually climb up that without any help, right?
Yeah.
You need to practice all day long.
You do have to practice all day long. And who did you think was going home at first from watching everything?
I thought Parvati was going out.
You thought Parvati was going out, and I was excited because I had Parvati going out in JSFL. And then we thought maybe Adam was going.
And then Ethan got voted
out. And we all were heartbroken. I can't believe he's gone.
Why did they not vote for Adam?
Well, because the other new schoolers want to keep Adam around, so they got his vote, I think.
Vote?
Yeah, so he'll vote with them next week. But next week on Survivor, looks like they're kind of fed up with Adam. So who knows?
Who knows if
he might end up siding with Rob and Parvati, and then it'd be a split. But maybe we'll get a swap next week. And then it looks like maybe something happens on Edge of Extinction and everybody's falling down. So maybe they eat some bad fish or something happens. It sure looks like it. Anyway, I hope they're all okay. Loving Natalie on Edge of Extinction. I think she's playing it very clever. I like the way she calls herself a millionaire. And, yep, I guess that's about it for this week. Got anything else you want to say, Jackson?
I love everything that they done today.
You liked the whole episode today?
Yeah,
It was a really good one.
I really liked the thing with, the tribal council where they got, a lot up, then there was a lot of Ethan going on the board, so that's how Ethan got voted out, I thought.
Okay, well, we'll talk to you all next week. Thank you so much for all you do, Joanne and Stacy. Look forward to hearing everybody. Till next week, bye.
Bye, I'm Jackson Wells. Goodbye.
All right. Thank you, Nicola. Thank you, Jackson. Good job. Next up, we got an email from Tina in Virginia.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. There were so many fun, cute moments this episode. I hope Adam will be okay. I'm looking forward to his reaction next week. I have so many favorite players, and Denise is doing so well. How will she deal with Adam? As I watched the show the second time, there were a lot of minor scenes that explained a lot, but could easily be overlooked. Will Ben and Rob have an epic falling out on screen? Even the Edge of Extinction seems exciting. The first player at the island does have a big advantage. Looking forward to everyone's thoughts. Love listening to the kids getting older. All right, thanks, Tina. Up next, we have a call from Drew.
Hey, Joanne and Stacey. Hey, everyone. This is Drew. I know it's past noon Pacific time, but I just remembered I'm at the park with the kids, and I thought, you know what? Maybe they're running late today. I'm just going to throw out some feedback anyway. Julie, unbeknownst to me, set a little alarm on my phone on Wednesday afternoon to put in my picks. And I thought, that's really brilliant because ever since then, I have not missed. The last couple of weeks, I have not missed putting in picks. And I thought that was really quite clever and considerate of her. And I think I probably better do one on Saturday. Haven't done my feedback by then. A little reminder, we got to use the resources and technology available to us, right? So anyway, it was a fun episode. I actually thought that Adam had Rob going for a second. I was like, is Adam playing Rob right now? Is this really happening? And then, of course, the next spot you see is Rob saying, who does this guy think he is? What do you think he's doing? Anyway, so that was kind of funny how Adam was so sure he knew what was going down. And then, Rob was just like, So that was kind of too bad. I guess the loser of the week has to go to Adam because of that shenanigans and thinking that he could just mix things up like that. And I kind of really hoped that he would have been the one to go because of it, because that would have been a really nice little comeuppance for his, I don't know if you'd call it arrogance, but just to think that he could pull something like that over Rob. I mean, are you serious? And then a winner of the week, I guess, has to go to Rob, but I don't want to give it to him because I just don't want to. But I'm just bummed that it ended up being Ethan because I thought that he was in a good spot. And of all those three, he's the least threatening. Every week that they don't get rid of Rob, Parvati, or Sandra is, I guess, the week that they should be the losers. So everyone else, yeah, like I said, yeah, I enjoyed it. These challenges, I think, are just, it occurs to me, what do they do with all of the pieces for these challenges when it's over? Some of them can be reused for other challenges, but others, do they just go in storage probably? It just seems like they go to such great lengths to make these really beautiful, elaborate, and structurally sound things. So anyway, it's pretty impressive. But sorry, I know it's late, but maybe I caught it this time. And if not, I'll catch you guys next week. Have a good one. Bye.
Yeah, these big shows, you got lucky for sure. But it does run late on Saturday sometimes. And we're glad that you were able to call in. Thanks, Drew. And yeah, they do store a lot of those components because we see them come back from seasons way in the past, and we've seen tours of the facilities and different articles and extra videos over the years. So they do warehouse a lot of that stuff up, and that's another benefit, I guess, of being at the same location. Thanks, Drew. Next up, David's back. All right.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy, it's David in Pittsburgh, and did you miss me? Because I missed you guys. I was on a Caribbean cruise. We got away to escape the gray, cold Pittsburgh winter, and we didn't realize that they were going to move up Survivor so early for the new season. In fact, I think this is the earliest they've ever started the spring season, and I'm sure it's to wipe away season 39, and they were successful in that. Anyway, back on the ship, we thought we could watch it on their TV, and they don't get the national channels. And, who am I going to complain to? Poor us. We're on a cruise, blue sky, warm weather, turquoise water, but I really did miss Survivor. And wow, what a ride. Of course, because there are so many returning players, we really have many choices to root for. So it was really disappointing that Natalie was the first to be voted off. And now Ethan, I really like Ethan, but I could just tell he was not up to the challenge of playing this faster-paced game. What I like about Natalie, though, is when her back's against the wall, when she's really pissed off at everybody, she's going to come back strong. So I think she really will get back into the game, or even if she doesn't, she's playing this brilliantly. I have some questions, though. I don't know Sophie. I don't remember what season she played in, and everybody's talking about her as if she's this cold-hearted player, but I don't know what she did to get that, how she won her season. And I had to laugh at all the over-analysis of different players, like Adam, for example. Is he just pretending to be klutzy? Well, he may be a good strategic player. Well, at least he's still in the game, but all the same, he's a klutz. He's not putting on an act. And the way the players keep underestimating Rob and Parvati, you know what? If they go into a switch, and those two are on a team with other major players like Sandra, watch out. So, we get the chance, get rid of them. Anyway, I'm glad to be back. I always look forward to your recap, and I also like listening to the listeners' feedback, and the next episode can't come too soon for me. So I hope to talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Welcome back, David. Glad you had a good trip, and you safely returned without a coronavirus. Bonus.
Yay.
Although he's in a completely different geographic area, but that's going to become the big concern as we go forward from now. Yeah, so Sophie's from South Pacific, and she certainly stood out in contrast against Coach, who was mounting this big religious charade in their tribe, and you got to see her play off, and that was Cochran's first season, and there was a lot of opportunities for her to differentiate herself, although she stayed kind of in the background for the most part. She was just playing smart and highlighting all the peculiarities of the people that she was playing with while she was doing it, and helping direct the tribe to make choices that were most beneficial to her. Next up, we got an email from Cameron in North Carolina. Hey, Joanne and Stacy, I would record my voice, but my voice is beat from having a rough cold. I don't know about you guys, but personally, I'm loving the Sele drama so much more than Dakal's. I just feel so much more tension present there, making it much more entertaining. Certainly, that's the way it's being presented for us. Tony picking up the shark was pretty funny, but it didn't compare to Patrick picking the crab up in Heroes, Healers, and Hustlers. That moment really stuck with me as a humorous one. I was a little surprised when Natalie gave the advantage to Sarah, but ultimately I get it now after you guys' recap. It makes sense, and just maybe that will help Natalie in the long run as well. And while I'm not the biggest Tony or Sarah fan, I can't help but be a little amused. Cops R Us is back in action. Sandra's the queen of the game, the queen of evil, and now the queen of sitting out challenges. And yeah, I think she's almost caught Courtney now. And man, that challenge was close. My heart was starting to pound once I saw Dakal win, seeing as I thought I'd go bold in JSFL this week and have all 4 of my safe picks be from Sele. Now, I don't disagree with Ben's analysis on Parvati on being a flirt, but regarding this season, she hasn't seemingly been doing that. Maybe I need to catch up on the extra videos, but ultimately she definitely isn't as deceptive as she was in Micronesia and Heroes versus Villains on those grounds. Adam does not cease to surprise me this season. Good Lord, dude. Everything Boston Rob says was right about him. As big of an ego as Rob has, you should know that you don't choose if you want to work with him. He chooses if he wants to work with you. A way to tick off everyone who was actually going to hold loyalty to you, man. 3 episodes in, and that is the first really upsetting vote out for me. First off, I lost my first safe point. Secondly, I thought things were truly off to a great start for Ethan. I'm going to be extremely displeased if group dynamics keep aligned and non-threateningly are the ones being sent to the edge. And well, it's no secret Ethan's one of my all-time favorite winners, so there was definitely some salt in the wound on top of that JSFL blunder on my part. At least I'm not in the literal basement quite yet in our side challenge. Well, folks, I managed to put all this together while sitting live at an NC State Pitt basketball game before tip-off. Who says multitasking is hard? Joanne and Stacy, all Survivor fans, looking forward to some great feedback and already anticipating some more heartbreaking vote outs still to come. Until next time. All right, thanks, Cameron. I hope your voice gets better. Next up, we got a call from Parker.
Hi, this is Park from Indiana. This is going to be a short and sweet feedback because I'm literally about to cry. Last week, when I was talking about Tyson in my feedback, Stacy did a Franken edit to me, and he cut out the beginning of that sentence where I'm talking about the trend of the fourth person voted out of a all-returning player season being an amazing player. In All-Stars, it was Rob Cesternino. In Heroes vs. Villains, Suri. In Game Changers, Malcolm. Winners at War, Ethan Zahn. If you... okay. My vote out was Rob. If you were to weaken Rob, why not vote Rob out? Seems logical to me. Don't put... Why Parvati? Why Ethan? Why? Stop it. Please. Stop. Why? Why not just vote Rob out? You can do that. It's allowed. And if you're... Well, you know, we want fans to like us. We need Rob here. Fans are going to be happier about Parvati and Ethan being there over Rob. Seriously. And then it was almost Adam, and that was fine with me. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. Bloody. Freaking. I've been watching too much Australians forever. I just said bloody. Okay. Man. Oh, gosh dang it. I'm really bummed out now, guys. I'm going to be crying about this all week. You know what? Edge of Extinction, not so bad. And then somebody gets hurt or something on Edge of Extinction. Better not be Ethan. Swear? I swear. I mean, I've seen them all walking around after the game. I know they're all fine now, so, like, that's not a problem. But, like, better not be Ethan. Because he needs to win his way back. Sorry, Natalie, Danny, Amber, anybody else who gets voted off after this point, unless your name is Yule or Tony, it's gotta be Ethan. Sorry, it's the rules. I don't make them, I just follow them. Ethan has to come back from Edge of Extinction. Also, Chris Underwood looks like a younger version of Ethan Zahn. Not like this Ethan Zahn we're seeing now, younger version of the Ethan Zahn. Even though we've seen young Ethan Zahn, I'm saying Chris Underwood looks like a young version of this season's Ethan Zahn. I can't explain it, but that's the truth. And if Chris Noble, if Chris Underwood can do it, Ethan Zahn can do it. So that's my case. All right, I will see you guys next time.
All right, Parker, love that passion. And if you want more control over what part of your audio shows up in the listener feedback show, try to hit that 3-minute target. Next up, we got a call from Brad.
Hey, Joanne and Stacey, this is Brad again from Los Angeles. I'm sure this is going to be said over and over again, but I just wanted to note that at the top of my notes, I wrote, Ethan is in zero danger. Laugh out loud. So that's basically how the show went for me. I did not pick correctly at all. One thing I wanted to talk about here is, obviously in Rob's tribe, the next vote really comes down to whatever Michelle and Jeremy want to do. They can pair up with Rob and Parvati, which I can understand why they'd want to keep Rob and Parvati in the game as shields. Adam is on the outs for the time being. But on the Dakal side, if they were to lose, have really a 5-4. You have Sandra, who's with nobody. You've got Tyson and theoretically Kim, although we haven't had a lot of TV time to confirm that, except for the hair braiding extra clip. And then you have Tony and Sarah, who are together. But if I were them, I would really be thinking about Sophie, Yul, Wendell, Nick. So out of those 4, if those 5 were to team up, who do you guys think they would go after first? I mean, Yul is the most powerful and capable, along with Wendell. What do you guys think about that? That's the thing that's keeping me up at night. And then I also had one other consideration too. And by the way, thank you for the explanation about the fire tokens last week. That helped me out a lot. I was able to sleep, so thank you guys. Everyone's really obsessed with why haven't they voted out Rob? Well, if you look at the people that have been voted out, they're old schoolers, except for Natalie. And if I'm Jeremy and Michelle, I want to keep those people out there weak, because whoever returns with the merge, if I'm Jeremy, I want Natalie chock full of coins so I can turn my 2-person alliance into a 3-person alliance at the merge. I don't want somebody like Rob racking up advantages, things like that out there. So that's just my idea, my thought. Episode 4, I'm going to call it, I think Yul's going home. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Brad. What did you think about Brad's question about how things might play if Dakal ended up going next?
Well, they want us to think Tyson's talking to Sandra and Tony. So the reality is the people that are on the outs, if Tyson could stop targeting Sandra and Tony, and Tony could stop targeting Tyson and work together, they could pull in Kim, Sandra, Tyson, Tony, and even Yul or Sarah, either one. Then they got numbers. So say Tony, Sarah, Tyson, Sandra, Kim. They're golden.
Could be, yeah.
They don't even need Yul at that point.
And we have seen that Sandra had some connection with Sarah. So I think Brad said that Sandra was on her own, but she's definitely she's been working with some others. And I think probably Sandra might have helped Sarah a little bit. We heard that early on Sarah was off on her own. She was isolating because she was having some difficulty there on day 2.
Yeah. Well, I think it really depends on who Sarah and Tony decide to go with.
I think Yul and Tyson put the stink on Tyson, and that's going to be hard to shake. So I'm looking at it a completely different way. Yul and the poker connection, it obviously,
True.
It worked to get rid of Amber, but I don't think that's gone away. Yul repaired some of that by reaching out to Kim, from what we read in his strategy summary on the first episode. So, and then Kim has tried to bridge the gap with Sophie. So I think Kim and the poker connection thing could be weakened now. But when Tyson targeted Sandra, and Sandra's never going to forget that. She'll be remembering that for years, given what we know about Sandra, that the stink is so hard on Tyson that no matter what he does to reach out to Sandra and Tony, I don't think he's going to overcome that. So for me, I'd say Tyson's next to go.
Okay.
It's just hugely weighted there. That's my thoughts. Thanks, Brad. Gave us a lot to think about. Good question. Next up, we got an email from Yazz-n-Conner.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. What was Adam thinking? I rarely yell at the TV, but I did on Wednesday. Adam clearly thinks he is the smartest kid on the block. He claims to be a student of Survivor, yet he told Rob to go against his closest ally. If Adam had really studied how Rob plays, he would have known that Rob sticks with his alliances. He thought he had everyone in his pocket, and he was the puppet master. Come on now, Adam. Adam is local to where I live, and I wanted to cheer for him, but he really annoyed me this week. His ego's out of control. Speaking of studying the game and playing it right, Nat really does pay attention. Sending the fire token to Sarah, who had played it correctly in a previous season, was a smart move. Connor thought it was ridiculous that the other four decided to take out Ethan. They had the perfect shot to go after Rob, but yet again, everyone seemed too scared to write down his name. He could win it all. They take out part of the old school alliance with Ethan, but he really wasn't much of a threat. Ethan was just following Parv and Rob's lead with everything. Parv or Rob are way bigger threats. Connor really wants to see some action on the Red Tribe. He says it's fun to watch them catch sharks, build crazy ladders, and get fruit, but we want to see some strategizing and vote-offs. We're looking forward to seeing Sandra versus Tyson and who comes out on top. Connor says he hasn't really seen who is in what alliance, who is playing with who, and we want to see some gameplay. Connor doesn't think they will lose, though. They seem much better at challenges, and they have food, both reward and through hunting and gathering, which really helps for challenges. We're playing Jezebel for the first time this season, and we really suck. We only have 10 points. It's much harder than we expected.
Indeed.
Didn't see Ethan being voted out. We had Parv. Oh well. Thanks for all you do. We really enjoy your podcast. Bye. All right. Thanks, Yazz. Thanks, Connor. Up next, we have a call from Slappy.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. This is Slappy McGee calling you about the Survivor episode from this week. Third episode, pretty good. Still really enjoying the season. It's so fun to watch all these former winners and all the machinations that go on. Some great stuff happening. It was funny to see the metaphor or the analogy, whatever you want to call it, at the beginning of the episode where Adam thinks he's got it all taken care of. He's just snoozing away. And then here comes Rob tickling his nose, becoming a little itch in his plan, as it were. And then Rob got it turned up on him, too, by Jeremy and them. So it was kind of cool to see all that. It's like, oh, yeah, we won't get rid of Parvati, but we are going to get rid of Ethan. So just so you know, we're still running things over here. So Rob got a wake-up call there, which I thought was, pretty good. Pretty good turn of events for them. So I'll be interested to see how that is resolved between those heavy hitters. I'm not really sure what's going to happen next week, but I have a feeling that the Red Tribe is going to be losing somebody this time. I don't know. It just feels like it's going to bounce back that way, but it could be wrong. But I'm hanging in there with my fantasy Survivor and doing pretty well. I've yet to pick a person to get off to be voted out, but I do have 4 safe points for every week. So holding strong there. I think it's 12 points. Hopefully that'll play out and Wendell will win it all. And then I'll dance around in my hollow victory. It's really cool to hear all the insights from the other Survivor people that you have calling in, the fans. I think they offer a lot more insight than I do. And it's really, really interesting to hear the different theories and take. I just want to shout out a few of them because Josh the Plush Moose, don't even know what that means, but Josh's insights are hilarious. I just crack up every week. So that's really fun. And a lot of people do. It make me really laugh and make me really think about stuff. And is Jackson the most adorable Survivor fan ever? Come on, that kid. Just adorable to listen to. So that's awesome. I do work with kids throughout the course of the week, and so it's kind of fun to hear a young Survivor fan. And so that's all I got today. And this is for you, Jackson. Here we go. Slappy out! Jackson out! Take care, guys.
Thanks, Slappy. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Noelle.
Hi everyone, it's Noelle from Albuquerque. I'm really sad that Ethan got voted out. I really liked him. I guess I'm glad I'll still get to see him on the show for a while. Last week I got really mad and I said Adam needs to go, and I don't know why the rest of the Sele tribe wouldn't listen to me. But It seems like they're onto him now. And then I got really mad and I picked Adam to get voted out of anger. And then later I said, let me not pick Adam based on emotions. Let me make a logical choice. And I changed it to Kim because I thought, well, the tribe seemed pretty evenly matched in the first episode, so probably the red team's going to lose now. And I thought the red team would go to tribal. And then you know what Emmy did? She picked Ethan. And I thought, you know, Ethan's not like an illogical choice, but I wouldn't have picked Ethan. And look, now Emmy's got a vote out point. I'm sure she'll be very happy about it. Natalie seems well suited to the edge of extinction. She is really killing it out there. So I wonder if that means that she's got a good chance to return. I'm looking forward to the challenge where they get to see who comes back from that island, but I kind of hope that they'll return somebody at the merge and then be done with it. Or at least everybody who doesn't get back in at the merge doesn't get to be on the jury, because didn't that happen last time? And they ended up with a huge jury, and half of the jury hadn't even met the people that were, most of the people that were at the end. I didn't like that at all. You shouldn't be on the jury if you never played with the other tribe. So I hope they'll fix that this year. Only note I had written down from the episode was, why do they cover their faces with their buffs at night? I figure it has something to do with bugs or creepy crawlies, but I also assumed that, Stacy, that you would know the answer to that, so you seemed like the right person to ask. I'm going to pick Denise to get voted out next, even though it still seems like the red tribe should be losing soon, but maybe not. And then finally, I really like the whole sneak into camp at night while everyone is sleeping thing. I hope they continue it long enough that somebody eventually gets caught, because I think that would be so fun. I can't imagine what that might look like. Sarah almost got caught, didn't she? Okay, I'm picking Denise next week. Everybody have a great weekend. Bye.
Thanks, Noelle.
Well, I think that as an example, we saw when Sarah was in their camp that Parvati had a spider crawling on her.
Yeah, it was on her buff that she had covering her head and face. Yeah.
And had she not had that on and been sleeping with her mouth open, who knows?
I can't remember that lady. Was she from Utah? The contractor lady? She had the one that got into her ear. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Creepy crawl. Was it Jennifer? Was
that? I can't remember right now. You should have asked me sooner.
Yeah, I did. Well, I didn't think about it until just now. In any case, so we have had a castaway that ended up with a bug in their ear that they had. The medical team came in to help get it out, and they were able to eventually coax it out. Yeah, so I think that's absolutely the reason, and it'll provide a little warmth to hold your breath in like that, if that's something that you need. I don't think that's what they need, because they're sleeping down on the beach around the fire instead of in the shelter this time. So it must have been pretty warm when they were there at that time.
Yeah, so I don't know that there's necessarily, it's mosquitoes. It looks too cold, but definitely other bugs.
Sand fleas, spiders, and they've definitely had rats and mice run across them too.
That is true, yes. Snakes.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Noelle. We hope you lose that sadness and get happy in the next episode. Next up, we got an email from Josh the Plush Moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacy, a lot happened this week, but it still felt like the calm before the storm. We're running out of collateral targets, and it's just a matter of time before the bigger ones start heading to Extinction Island. Here are my other observations. Adam targeting Rob isn't strategic. He just wants to sleep without getting his nose tickled. I love that Sandra's idea of being a provider is to have fish catch themselves and then have others gather them for her. It's too bad robotics professor Christian didn't win his season. He would have felt right at home working with Yule. You bet. Unlike Monty Python's parrot, Tony's shark really wasn't dead yet. Ladder waiver, shark waiver, Tony is really making CBS's lawyers earn their pay. With so many folks targeting each other, this season could turn into mad spy versus spy. I think Natalie's the only one on EOE who knows about trading advantages for tokens. It made perfect sense that criminal Sarah was the one to burgle an advantage from the other camp. Oh, I missed that angle. That's good. During Sarah's raid, was Black Widow Parvati the one sleeping with a spider on her head? Yes, she was. After surviving Gilligan's ladder, Tony had no problem climbing the challenge one. Some puzzle pieces were poor fits with big irregular gaps. Jeff needs a new carpenter. Yeah, it did look like some of them were really wobbly bad fits. Denise is a tribal jinx. Sele needs to improve their feng
shui.
Feng shui. Thank you. Did you put that in or did he?
I did.
Their feng shui by moving her to EOE. That's right, because any tribe she's on goes to tribal council.
I tried to spell it out for you, but
Thank you. Yeah.
it still didn't work.
I did not know that word. I know it's got something to do with harmonious motion or something.
Feng
right?
shui, yes.
Yeah, the camp standoff was all a misunderstanding. They thought it was outwait, outstay, not outwit, outplay. Rob handled Adam like a killdeer would. Killdeer are birds that lead predators away from their prey by feigning weakness and injury and then leave them with nothing. Michelle is confused. This is Survivor, not the dating game. Rob said you need to trust someone when you can't trust anyone. Thanks, Yogi Berra. Rob has a statue, so Adam put him on a pedestal at Tribal Council for target practice. First, Ben had bombs. Now it's bunkers. What's next? Bullets, bayonets, bazookas? 2-word summary of Tribal Council. Zon gone. That's good. Z-O-H-N. Zon gone. Next time, Adam's a snake. Connections can be bad for you, and Ethan gets a visit from medical. Will Zon be gone from the season? Anyway, that's it from me for now. Thanks, Joanna Stacy, for all you do. I can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Thank you, Josh. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Krystle.
Hi, Joanna and Stacy. This is Krystle. Wanted to give a few brief thoughts on this latest episode. First, I just want to say I really enjoyed watching Sarah have to work for her advantage in the way that she did. I loved that she brought in Tony, and I found it hilarious when he was putting charcoal all over her face. I really thought that that was one of the highlights of the episode for me. In terms of strategy, I thought it was very dumb of Adam to go tell Boston Rob. As much as he claims to be a mastermind of the game, I think that was such a bonehead move to go to Boston Rob. It's like he's never seen the show before. It's like he had no idea what he was doing, and it was a typical rookie mistake. And I'm really glad that his former alliance made him pay for it by leaving him out of the vote. But I think they knew that for this vote, they needed the numbers, and I think that that's why they kept him. And I do think it was important to get rid of someone in that Parvati, Rob, Ethan trio. Sad to see that Ethan was the collateral damage of that, but I do think it was important that one of them went to Extinction Island or Edge of Extinction. Otherwise, I think it was a very entertaining episode and can't wait to see what happens next. And I'm hoping that some of these advantages of the fire tokens start to get played soon, because I really want to see them in play. Moving forward, I'm hoping that the red tribe loses, because I feel like I'm tired of seeing the blue tribe at Tribal Council every week. So we'll see what happens. But as always, thank you for all you do. And until next time, bye.
Thanks, Krystle. Next up, we got a call from Jeremiah.
No! That was my reaction, everyone, to seeing Ethan get voted out. Yes, this is Jeremiah here with my feedback, and I was, of course, extremely upset to see Ethan go. I know he's not no mastermind in the game, but he's just a great human being, and you want to kind of root for him, so it was hard to see him go. What could Ethan done to prevent this? Yeah, probably not aligning with Boston Rob and Parvati would have been a good start. And I know most of the fans are extremely upset that they didn't vote out Rob, and personally, that's what I would have done, but I understand why people are doing this. This is a theory I thought could happen this season, where everybody wants to keep these giant targets around so they don't become a target. But I like how in this vote, Jeremy and Michelle were able to tell Rob and Adam in one single vote, you guys are not in control anymore. So much interesting gameplay so far this season, good and bad. And do you guys think, is there any coincidence that the returning players that have had the longest layoff from Survivor, Danny, Amber, and Ethan, are out early? I don't think so. Especially with Danny, you could tell she had no clue what was going on. And then this week with Ethan, I think he did have a clue what's going on. I just think he was caught in a bad place at the wrong time. I think with this blue tribe, everyone, I think it's pretty clear your guys' USB Denise has got to be the jinx on this tribe. They can't win one challenge, but your girl's in pretty good shape. And what's up with this week having Michelle be our narrator? Does this mean Michelle's going to go on an exciting run? Now, I love Adam, but I agree with you guys. He's definitely gotten way too cocky and playing hard way too early. And, now he seems to be on the bottom. That's probably going to be a continuing thing, by the way, where you have one player look like they're doing really well, and then a few episodes later, not so much. Now, on that red tribe, we don't know anything really what's going on in the dynamics with that tribe since they haven't been to tribal council in a while. But definitely Yule seems to be the one in the best spot over there. Now, I did, of course, this week loved the whole shark stuff with Tony. Then he had the cops are us watching out for each other. That was a lot of fun. So there's fun stuff going on out there, but I want to see these people vote for each other. That's what I want to see. And on EOE, wow, guys, there's no doubt in my mind now that my prediction of Natalie being the one to come back into the game is going to happen. I mean, it's just going to happen. She is so much better than everybody else that's on that EOE. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Is anyone else loving the music this season? Boy, they've really stepped things up, and I'm really liking this. I haven't enjoyed the music this much since Russ Landau left. And in JSFL, well, after having a 3-point week last week because I had no idea Danny was going to go home, I definitely played it safe this week to get 4 points, and I'm probably going to do the same next week as well. Speaking of next week, I think that blue tribe is probably going to lose again. Thinking we're either going to lose Boston Rob finally, or maybe Adam now is going to be packing his bags and heading to EOE. We shall find out next week. All right, you guys take care, and until next time, this is Jeremiah from Southern California.
All right, thanks, Jeremiah. Good job. Next up, we got an email from Hayden in Kansas.
Hello, Joanne, Stacy, and all of the other Survivor fans listening in. Last week, I had a major project to work on, and I wasn't able to choose my JSFL picks or send in feedback.
Goodness.
This week, however, I can finally get back to responding for the podcast. First things first, Adam ruins everything.
I love that. That's the name of a show. That's an actual show where this guy goes in and he spoils all these historical misconceptions.
Did not know that. Adam could have and should have gone with the flow of the game to vote out Parvati. But no, he just couldn't see himself not being in the spotlight and decided to tell Boston Rob the plan. Why? I understand that Adam is trying to make big moves this season, but doing this is just rookie-level stupid. I also thought Adam was going to go home tonight, but instead he was blessed by the Survivor gods and got to stay, albeit losing everything in the process. Looking into the future for Adam, I think he's going to be around for quite a long time due to the type. Secondly, that vote off was, in my opinion, the best this season. Due to how they built it up, I thought it was either going to be Adam or Parv going home. I did not expect for Ethan to be the surprise blindside. I really liked Ethan and his whole story, so seeing him get voted off made me sad, but also somewhat happy that his ally, Boston Rob, got reminded that he isn't running the show. However, I don't know how Ethan is going to do out on Edge of Extinction. He's the one player who I thought wouldn't do well on EOE, and now that there is a teaser of a medical visit, I don't know if Ethan is going to stay in the game. Finally, if I had to award a winner of the week, it would have to go to Michelle. The way she orchestrated the blind side and didn't make it obvious that she was the one who caused it was so perfectly done. It also reminded the viewers, oh yeah, she exists, after being just a background character in the last 2 episodes. If Michelle keeps this up and gets a winner's cut, I could see her making it far after the merge, and maybe to Final 5. That's all I have to say for now. Thanks again for another great episode of the podcast, and I can't wait to listen in and hear what everyone else has to say. All right, thanks, Hayden. Up next, we got a call from Jen.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California. Can I just vent for just a second here? It's been driving me crazy all week since the end of last episode. And the thing that just makes me want to scream is, on the Sele tribe, there are 4 players who won on their very first time out, and 2 players, including Parvati, who won on their second time out. Why are they giving so much respect to the guy who took 4 times to win? 2 of those 4 times, his game was not even good enough for him to make the jury. I know Boston Rob is charismatic, and I know that he is a compelling player to watch. But his game, his style of gameplay is not a style of gameplay that wins Survivor. His track record proves that. So I don't understand this fear and this... Well, I guess I understand the fear, but I don't understand the respect. I mean, I know you don't walk right up to Boston Rob and say to his face, hey, I played 1 time and I won the first time out and you didn't. But I'm just saying, the confidence level of these second-time players who won their first time out should be there. It should be there. Now, I know some people are probably wanting to keep him around as a meat shield of sorts, but really putting him in his place would be voting him out, and I really hope that happens soon. Don't take out Ethan when you could take out the one that's really causing all the tension, especially since he still has so many connections. I mean, he's still got Tyson in the game over there. Jeremy should suspect by now that Boston Rob still has a partner in Amber over there on Island of Extinction, but I have a sneaking suspicion that Jeremy's the one that wants to keep him in the game as a meat shield. But enough about that. Okay, my rant is over. For now. While I didn't love them targeting Ethan, I did love the foursome of Ben, Denise, Michelle, and Jeremy putting Adam in his place by keeping him out of the vote. Adam really had such a poor lapse in judgment by telling Ethan and Rob what the plan was. He really misread Rob's attention to him as loyalty, and I'm sure that's what Rob wanted, but I think that was a big rookie mistake and a perfect example of how dangerous Rob is and why you just need to get him out. He's just volatile. He's nobody's ally, and I don't think he really truly depends on anybody out there. He depends on people in so much as he can use them, but there's really, I don't think, any allegiance. Even to Parvati, I think she could have done better to align with somebody else. As much as I'm not a fan of Edge of Extinction, Natalie is rocking it over there. I mean, breaking the shells and relocking the box and pretending like she hadn't found that advantage. Her game is just light years ahead of Amber and Danny at this point. We'll see if Ethan can match her now that he's there, but good for Natalie. If she's playing hard, she really wants back in. I hope there's not a swap this week because I'm really enjoying seeing Dakal dominate. Maybe next week, but it's almost too late to get the likes of Parvati, Rob, and Tyson out. If they all swap up together, that's going to be a problem. That's it for me. Can't wait to hear everyone else's thoughts. Till next week. Bye.
Thanks, Jen. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, Paul, Louisiana here. And first off, I'm completely on Joanne's page when it comes to Ben's supposed awakening during Sarah's Ash Wednesday raid. Yeah, that was created through the miracle of editing because the way I saw it, or heard it, she made much more noise after he was startled awake rather than before. Anyway, I really hope we get to see Rob go this week. They need to get rid of him before any mix-up occurs where he becomes even stronger. They don't want to upset him, but let's face facts here. By whittling away at his alliance, they are upsetting him and leaving themselves with having to deal with his, upsettedness? I like that word, but hey, I don't know where their heads are. Yes, the other 4 should have gotten rid of Rob, especially since he's causing them to lose challenges. Be it Rob or Parvati, the head will be cut off from the rest of the snake, and I think Parv would be far easier to deal with all around, so please, 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 let's send Rob packing, or they'll just have to deal with him for most, if not all, of the season. It's not likely that he'd return from extinction, judging by his challenge performances, so let's get him out of the way now, because he's already worn out his welcome. Still, Adam better be careful, because if there's one thing I've learned this season, it's that if you hang with Rob, you pay the price when it comes to Tribal. So far, I have to say that this season hasn't been kind to Rob, and although I'm not a fan, I have to say that I sort of feel sorry for him. His performance has been, pitiful. And poor Ethan, he just seemed lost whenever we saw him. He was a nice guy who happened to finish first in his original season, but how many times can you beat the odds? Sadly, he's shown us that he was out of his depth this time around, and I feel that the same can be said for Danny as well. The old schoolers on Sele apparently just couldn't adapt to the breakneck speed that Survivor moves at now. I still believe Parvati can adapt, however. She's always been good at working with whatever little she has, and she can fly by the seat of her pants like a seasoned professional. Yeah, I'm showing my bias here because I want to see her stay for the same reasons I want to see Rob go. Weird. And then there's Adam, who needs to do a lot of damage control. But I think he can, so I'm not quite ready to say that he'll be voted off next. Not that Parv won't try for that. Adam's on the outs, but if he makes it to the mix-up, he'll recover and possibly even learn from his past mistakes. Imagine the audacity of thinking that you can get Boston Rob to change his ways and work with you. Bless his heart. And Michelle, look out. I am liking her, and I honestly don't recall if I liked her before or not. I just know that I felt that she came out of nowhere for her win. And speaking of coming out of nowhere, my USB Natalie is looking better and better with each passing episode. I'm not changing her as my USB because each day she becomes more determined and more strong. I'm honestly believing that she's the one that comes back. So I'm torn between Rob or Parv to go. Logic dictates that they'd get rid of Rob to end any chance of he and Amber reconnecting in the actual game. So I guess that means I'd best pick Parv for the next to be voted off. But I'd rather Rob, so I think that's the direction I'm headed in currently. Lastly, I'm anxiously awaiting the mix-up because that'll make things very interesting all over again. And I guess that's it for me. Take care all. Bye.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, getting a swap, a shuffle, things like that, it's like hitting the reset button in a lot of ways, depending on how it falls out. But I think if you follow this Meatshield strategy, if they were to stick with that, even though Adam has been shown as being likely to go, it would make the most sense for Adam to be voted out so that they keep the Rob Parvati Meatshields, because Adam offers the least value. He just most recently demonstrated that he can't be trusted, and he offers no value in the context of a Meatshield when the merge comes to give you a buffer between the merge and then what happens, so that you got a little time to work out a new alliance, because this tribe is obviously so down in numbers. And I'm sure the Meatshield strategy becomes even more compelling the less numbers they have.
Well, and he hasn't really stood out in challenges either.
Adam?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he just, in summary, he offers the least to the tribe. And so that makes him the most expendable, and therefore the most likely, if we're interpreting it right, the Meatshield strategy being the primary driver for why you see Ethan go. Danny had her own issues. I mean, it still works from that perspective. She wasn't a threat, but she had trust issues because of the way she managed herself, I guess, in that exchange. So it does seem likely to me that Adam would go. It just comes down to whether or not Sele can pull off a win when they're having to sit out more and more of the Dakals.
I really would like to know more about why Ben is so angry at Rob. That, you know, he's like, I can't work with him. I just can't work with him anymore.
Well, I think it's, you get tired of someone telling you things or telling you that you're wrong. And we saw a little taste of Rob doing that to Adam. Adam was talking about where he had a poker hand. He was in for 200, and Rob immediately just came over the top of that and said, oh, yeah, well, that was a bad move on your part. You're not likely to win or whatever. And the way Ben was describing Rob is the alpha, which means he's flexing on everybody all the time.
He's the expert.
Yeah.
About whatever we're talking about.
Yeah, from that perspective, that just will wear on you and get old if someone can't manage themselves there. And because he's viewed that way in the context of Survivor history, he's got all these skills about how to do things and how to, make fire, how to make shelter, and then to hear Ben tell it, it's like nonstop. That was my interpretation of it.
Well, in the clip, he's like, yeah, I can't work with Rob, and he's not paying any attention to whoever else was talking till Michelle said, oh, well, and I think, and Parvati's more dangerous for this. He went right, Parvati, okay.
Yeah. He'll just have to manage his anger and put up with Rob.
Okay.
It's not
All
like
right.
he hasn't had to do it before. I'm sure he came across a lot of that in the military.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I wonder how well he's sleeping, too. Because them showing him startling awake like that made me wonder if he was having a nightmare or something, or, to startle awake and look around like that.
Yeah.
Tells me he might not be sleeping solidly.
Along those lines, I saw a study, I think I bookmarked it not too long ago, and it was talking about how when you're sleeping in a new place, they've discovered that your brain remains, it's only like half asleep, that your alert level is amped, even though you are sleeping, but your brain's still in a heightened monitoring stage. essentially looking for danger, something like that. And so in those kind of surroundings, and then when you can't trust anyone, and he got himself off on the wrong foot.
Well, and because he also suffers from PTSD, so any popping noise
from the fire,
from anywhere,
limbs
breaking, or a popping noise like that's going to make him think of gunfire immediately. So.
Yep, all those things, and we know he had struggled with that before. So, yep, could be taking a toll on him. I agree. Well, we want to say a thank you to everybody for taking time. Send in your thoughts and your predictions this week. We enjoyed that. We got lots to think about. Good job, everybody. And we also want to say a big thanks to Hazel for your subscription donation. We greatly appreciate your continued support. Thank you, Hazel.
And don't forget, if you're playing in JSFL, make your picks for next week before the deadline of 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific time on Wednesdays.
Anything else?
Who did you think's going next week? You said Tyson?
For Dakal, if it breaks that way, then Tyson, yeah. And then on Sele, I'm going to go with Adam. So I'll just have to mull that over, decide who I think is going to win the challenge. Certainly Sele's got some motivation and fire to win one, but who knows if that'll actually come to be.
Mm-hmm.
They may not have the raw ingredients to make it happen, given what we're seeing, even though they've been close.
I think Tyson's a good pick, except he has done really well in challenges for them. He's been very strong in the challenges and helping them win.
They've got lots of people who are strong in challenges. I don't think they'll be that far out. Well, she's not in them. She gets to sit out.
But she is giving them food.
She's got to pass until the merge when they have to start alternating her.
But just because Yule doesn't want her out doesn't necessarily mean that she'll stay.
That's true. Yep, she's a good candidate too.
And I think Michelle's good.
The catch you need to remember, and what Paul's visual roster is so good at helping us see is all these different dimensions, is that she's got an idol good for 2 tribal councils. So at any hint of a threat, in the next 2 she's going to attend, she can save herself and flip the script.
For those of you who are not aware, Paul's roster does keep track of who has what advantage or who has an idol and how many tokens they have.
Yep, bottom right corner's got the fire token count, so all that's really helping out. Thanks again with all that.
Yeah.
I love how you're managing all that with one picture, Paul. Good job.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing. You can just look at that and see everything. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I think Michelle is also in danger.
Yeah? How does that play out?
Because if Adam feels like he doesn't have anywhere to go, he could really try to, and Parvati's already said she didn't have a lot of options. Neither does Rob. So they might have to take it where they can get it if they just get one other person. So if Denise decides to give Adam another chance and stay together with him, then they could choose to go with Rob and Parvati, and vote out Michelle or Jeremy. But we know Jeremy's not going, and unless he doesn't get a clue.
Right.
If he gets a clue, he'll walk out.
As far as we know, nobody knows that he has that, whereas 2 other people know that Denise has an idol, that being Adam and Ben.
Though now that they've received tokens from what I'm sure they assume is their people over on, they don't know what he might have either.
The thing that you got to watch out for with thinking that Rob's finally going to go is could again be the week where Amber gets something, sends it to him, or even Ethan, although we think Ethan would be primarily focused on supporting Parvati.
Yeah.
And, he'll probably have some discussion with Amber in regards to them splitting up to help both of them.
Yeah, that way, because Michelle's not bad in the challenges, but she did have problem jumping across on that one part.
The ramps, yeah.
Yeah, but she would be easier to probably get to take out and not weaken the tribe as much. But I'm just saying, could happen.
Yeah, it's obviously they're not particularly...
It's not idea, but Rob and Parvati got to try to go somewhere. I think they'll try to talk to everyone and see who's open to anything at all. but they won't necessarily 100% trust Jeremy and Michelle since they told them they'd go with them and they did. So, anyway, that's my thought.
Okay. We look forward to finding out what happens in the next episode. Have a good one.